Hi friends, welcome to Follow Up. Let's have a look at today's daily challenge problem. Problem 1512, number of good pairs. This problem is an easy problem. Our main purpose is to practice some Python functions or data structure. So here we are given an array of integers called nums. So we want to return the number of good pairs. So a pair ij is called good if nums I equals nums j, and their differences are different, right? So here we have the three examples. In the last example, we see that each number appears once. In other words, so this nums list can be regarded as a set. So we are going to return 0 because no two elements are the same. In the second example, so we have just one unique element, that is 1, right? So the length is 4, right? So we can choose any two indices. As long as we choose two indices, they are different. They should have a natural order relation. That is, this one is satisfied, and they also equal, right? So this is nothing but we choose 2 out of 4, right? So let's analyze this. So in example 3, so output is 0. So just all elements are unique elements. So that's the intuition. In example 2, so we want to do 4 choose 2. So here we have one element, 1 appears 4 times, and we just need to choose 2. And example 1 is the generic case. Now let's look at example 1, x to the 1. So here, 1 appears 3 times, and 2 appears once, and 3 appears twice. So the two 3's contribute 1 pair, right? So it's actually corresponds to 2 times 2, 2 choose 2. And for the 3 1 occurrences, we can choose any of 2 indices. So it corresponds to say 3 plus 2, choose 2. Then we can add them together. So that's the total number of good pairs. And also we notice that 2 appears 1 times. So if you do, let's assume we choose 2 out of 1, so this will be 0. And then if we do computations, for example, we choose from n we choose 2, so this should be n times n minus 1 integer division by 2. So that's the basic combinations in mathematics. So here, if we have n equals 1, so this formula also works to our intuition because we want this to be 0. But here n is 1, and then we times 1 minus 1, then divide by 2, so we get 0. So in other words, so we want to count the frequency of unique characters. So assume that the frequency we have a character, we have a frequency n, right? Then what we want to do is nothing but we do the summation for all this kind of n, we choose 2, right? So then we get the required result. So this problem essentially can be written in one line, but here let me write with some verbosity, right? So we can see we can get the dictionary, right? Use different for count the frequencies. So now let's do for y in nums, right? So we update the count for y, right? So we can use the dictionary get method. So we want to get this key, right, for this frequency. If it's not, the key y is not in the dictionary, so we are going to default it to be 0. Then we increment by 1. So this way we will get the unique elements and their frequencies. And then we can do the return. So for the return, we can initialize a result variable, and then for v in and d values, right? So result incremented by v times v minus 1 over 2. Then we can do the return for this result. So now let's quickly do a test. Yeah, it passes all the cases. So now let's write another format. So here, let me copy this part. So for this part, we can use the counter object. So current class is a subclass of the dictionary in Python. So we can see collections counter. So nums. So this will give us the unique elements and their corresponding frequencies, and then we can do this, right? So let's do this. Let's call this one v1, and then we can test that. It passes all the cases, but it's still too long. Let's write even shorter. So we are going to return. Let me use a comprehension, right? So we said v times v minus 1 over 2 for v in d values, right? So now let's do a quick test. Yeah, it passes all the case. So now if you want to write it even shorter, let's do this. So let's change this one to be version v2, and then what we want to do, we do not initialize this variable, just do this here. Collections counter nums, and then we get the values, and then do the return. So this will be one line. So the logic is still not very complex. So now let's do a test. Yeah, it passes all the cases. So anyway, basically this problem in logic is very simple, but what we have practiced is one is the dictionary get method, right, which can help us to set a default value rather than using this, right? Let's see, if y in d, right, so what we want to write is dy plus equals 1, and else, so what we want to do is dy equals 1, right? So this get method actually saves us for writing code like this. So, but yeah, let me copy comment out, and then we basically do a scan for the values. But you know, here we can use the comprehension to do this in a very succinct way. So if we like, you can write it in a one layer. So with that said, I guess that's the practice for this daily challenge.